Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Whew, hope you enjoyed that brief break as we return with the lower semifinals. The first semifinals of the tournament of ESL Open Cup Europe number 219. We're here with a banger of a series. The best Protoss in Europe up against one of the best Zerg players in all of Europa as well in all of the world. We're diving into game number 1, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hardled, we have our Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Storm Gaming. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Italian Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing Team Basilisk. It is Reynor. And if you are in the chat, then predictions will be open. You can place your bets on who you believe is going to be our first finalist tonight. Who's going to be our first finalist? Will history repeat itself, or will we get a different result instead? MaxPax and Reynor, they faced off last week in last week's Open Cup, and it did go the way of Reynor. Can he replicate that success, or will MaxPax get his revenge? It did go all the way to the ace match. Would not be surprised if that happens again, if we see another ace match instead. As you have a couple of minutes to decide. Best luck. Best of luck. From here, though, we're going to be settling into our game. So far, it is going to be, I believe, a 15-15. Yep, 15-15 here out of Reynor. You shouldn't be too surprised, but he is very fond of the 15-15 in every single matchup. Reynor is in love with that opener, and we see it more often than not. 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool into a delayed gas geyser is a very safe way to open up here in the Zerg vs Protoss matchup, or in every matchup, really. Except for ZVZ, that's a little bit different. But for now, just a very safe opener. Meanwhile, MaxPax going for his gate expand into the Cybercore, getting into his own opener as well. As a reminder, this is a best of 3, so a pretty short series overall, but the games themselves, I'm hoping for long ones. I'm hoping for it. Again, Queens are amassing. Probe Scout is coming back home. Overlord is parked outside of the bases here to get eyes on the timing of the Cybercore of the Warp Gate. And based on the pylon placement, this looks like a Stargate opener. Again, it is closer to the edge of the main base. Stargate ideally is placed closer to the edge as well to reduce the time it takes for the Oracle to get across the map. And there it is. Stargate is thrown down. So Stargate opener should lead into Oracles. We have seen players embrace Void Ray or Phoenix openers, but I don't think MaxPax is that kind of player. Again, he's much more standard in his play, much more standard in his openers at least. So I'm not really reading a Void Ray, for example, or a Phoenix, but we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on MaxPax. Across the map, third base is being taken. Reynor settling into his 3-base setup. Will be droning, going to be setting himself up. We have a couple of links on the way just for some map control, just to shut down the initial adepts. Speaking of adept, is going to be threatening a shade, but we should not commit. Yes, we cancel the shade and the adept does back off. Again, very important here that we keep this initial adept alive, that we don't lose too much momentum early on, as we do have the second adept coming in. Again, threatening a shade towards that natural. It looks like, yeah, we don't quite commit here. 2 adepts do one-shot drones, so they have to be respected. But at the same time, if these 2 adepts go down, then the third base is going to be denied. Or the third base could be threatened. So MaxPax has to be very careful with his control here. A very delicate dance is now upon us. Very delicate dance. As he does dip in, gets a shot off. Oracle has arrived, and with this Oracle, we can shut down these initial tumors. Again, because of the delayed link speed, we can do so. We can kind of punish and abuse those tumors as 1 adept goes down. But we trade 1 adept for 7 links. Not a bad trade as we shade into the main. Ooh, we don't quite get the drone. Both adepts do fall. Suddenly not too worth it here for MaxPax. At least the second adept lost. Back at home, his third base is getting up and running. Reynor, he's going for a link counterattack, but he doesn't have too many links. He can't really threaten this space too much. The third should be able to get up and run. As the Oracle is turning back around, racing back home. The links, they can collapse on top of the pylon at least. But as we can see, we can't do much more. Reynor, he has to retreat. Does retreat from there. Behind this, Reynor just going to be droning up, establishing his third. Getting it up and running and saturated. Meanwhile, we have our follow-up tech. It is going to be a Forge and Twilight Council. It looks like +1 and Blink. Once again, very standard follow-up here out of MaxPax, which is what we expect to be seeing. +1 and Blink on the horizon. Oracle comes in from the left-hand side. We do get, well, not even a drone kill. Oh my god, Reynor, calm down. Very quick reactions, but he loses 2-3 drones in the main base. A 4th drone as well. Good pickoffs out of MaxPax. With that, that's going to be 4 drones in total so far. Hasn't lost his oracles. Adepts are moving out across the map. We're leaving very little at home to defend. MaxPax relying on his own pressure here to keep Reynor busy. Keep him pinned back. Oracles, they get another 2 drones here in the main. Adepts, they're pushing forward, shutting down the active tumors. And it is going to be +1 and Blink, not charge, as we did mention. We have a slight gateway explosion here, but really we're just sustaining ourselves. There's going to be 6 gates in total, nothing too major. Not yet. We'll see if we do throw down a 7th and 8th gateway. We'll see if we do commit even harder. Now we're going to be backing up. Gateways are finishing. 3rd base is fully operational. We're taking our gases, and we should soon be working towards a 4th. Ooh, this has been making the rounds. So we stay on 6 gates, so a very low gateway count here for MaxPax, for his Stalkers, and he's being very defensive as he's rushing into Skytoss. Stargate, Fleet Beacon on the way. Skytoss is on the horizon. MaxPax playing a very defensive style. Showtime, is that you? Pretty much. So MaxPax, he's just focusing on defending. He can be a little bit active with his Stalkers, but he has to be very careful. Meanwhile, Reynor, he's rushing into Ling Hydra. Ooh, okay. So Ling Hydra does very well against Stalker aggression, assuming that it was Mass Blink Stalker, but it isn't, right? We are making Stalkers, yes, but we're using that as a launch pad to get into Skytoss instead. MaxPax is going to be more defensive. And Reynor's going to be building up an army that he needs to make use of, otherwise he may fall behind, as carrier production has commenced. There is going to be a window. There's going to be a window here where MaxPax is vulnerable, and Reynor should be the first to max. He should be the first to max out. And reset towards supply. Does catch out a couple of adepts. They do shade into the natural. Drones are getting picked up. We got 1, 2 even. Almost a 3rd. Infestation pit's on the way. The pit tells us that Reynor, he's thinking about hive tech and lurkers. So I'm not so certain he's going to be moving out anytime soon. He's harassing with some lings. He gets supply blocked. We have plenty in position. The 4th base is getting up and running. Mothership is on the way. Carriers as well. Looking at the vision, Reynor, he has scouted. He does see, he does know. Big scout there from Reynor. And we're going for the kill. Yeah, now there's a sense of urgency. Now that he's scouted, now that he knows that Skytoss is coming, we're shutting down these rocks. We're maxing out, we're pushing. Reynor, he knows he has to break MaxPax here and now before he can get into those carriers. Lings, they do get on top of that center base. Carriers have arrived. Stalker's going to be engaging with the Hydras. Ooh, and Reynor, he does take a stasis to the face. Ay. That's an expensive stasis. That is 6 Hydras here. They are vulnerable. Banelings are on the way. You can see Reynor amassing his army. He does not want to lose these Hydras. He's ready to fight. Meanwhile, the Hive still has not started. Yeah, Hydra's going to be targeted down. We do focus on at least some of them. Additional stasis traps. Shield batteries, cannons on the way. The carrier cannon is getting higher. And this aggression from Reynor, he's on a timer. He's going for it. Yeah, Overlords are floating over. Queens are rolling in. Or Queens are joining the fray. Bailing speed does kick in. But the Bailings, they only trickle in. And the carriers, they have arrived. The Bailings, they go for the mineral line. But they do connect. 6 probes go down. That's an okay amount of damage, but the overcharge has been popped. We are breaking through. Yeah, Reynor, he's slowly breaking through, getting through all these shield batteries. Getting on top of the army. Do we have detection? We don't. Ooh, no detection here for Reynor. He's being forced back, but he did kill the base. Did kill the Nexus, and he does get the mothership. Just in time. Mothership goes down. We're started stepping forward. We're getting on top of the Stalkers, and it looks like Reynor, he has done it. We spoke about it. He had to break MaxPax here and now, and he does. He has broken him. Getting out of control. The Queens are slowly pushing forward as well. Immortals are getting caught out. MaxPax, he almost got away with it. Almost got away with a carrier rush, but alas, it's not going to happen. Not this time. As you do break through, another carrier falls. We have one carrier remaining. Stalkers are doing what they can. We're trying to amass them. We are blinking our hearts out, but we have broken the fourth, and now we're breaking the third. Again, there's no saving this space. We're trying to come in from behind. The Hydras are a bit exposed. They are a bit exposed here, but we take down the economy anyway. We take down the middle line. GG gets called, and Reynor will take game number 1. GG. A solid game out of Reynor. Does take the first game. Again, very important that he was able to scout. Very imperative that he was able to get a read on all those Stargates, on the fleet beacon, on the carrier production. Reynor then and there knew that was the moment he had to go all in. That he had to just commit. Again, no Hive Tech, no Vipers, no Lurkers, just pure Lingbane Hydra Queen. Went for the kill move, and he did get it. And now we're getting into game number 2. Número 2. Getting into game 2 here, and we'll see where this does take us. I mean, I'm hoping for an ace match. I'm hoping for a longer series. That was a pretty fast game 1. That was a pretty quick game 1. We'll see if we can get a game number 2, as we're going to be loading into Site Delta. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Site Delta, we have our Danish Protoss player, the Red Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Down in this series, the pressure is on. He has to fight back here and now. It is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing Team Basilisk, once again going for the 15-15 and leading the series 1-0. Una más, one more is all he needs. It is Reynor. Here we go. We are settling into this. Again, 15 hatchery into the 15 spawning pool. Same opener as game number 1 for Reynor, just a very safe way to open up. He's able to get his natural base on location without being disturbed, and will be able to ease his way into the mid-game. The question becomes, how does MaxPax deviate? He went for a Stargate opener into a third, into +1 blink with 6 gateways, into a carrier rush. Wasn't able to pull it off. He was scouted, he was shut down, he was punished. Here in game 2, what do we go for this time? I imagine we're still going for a Stargate Oracle-based opener. I imagine we're still going +1 and blink. After that, though, up to MaxPax. It is going to be up to MaxPax here to decide where he does take us. Till then, we're taking our gases. We're going to be joining up. Still here in the early game as we're settling on in. Gate expand, Cybercore on the way by MaxPax, which is chilling things out. And as we load into Site Delta, the map itself has some interesting features. We do have a ramp leading into natural, so a very defendable natural base. The map itself is quite long. Bases are quite spread out, especially when we talk about taking a 4th and taking a 5th base as well. If we end up in a longer game, a macro game, then run-bys and counterattacks, they are brutal. Absolutely brutal here on Site Delta. We've seen the best of the best struggle to defend and struggle to maintain these fringe bases. And aggressive players have come out better. Defensive players have come out worse for wear. Aggressive players better for it. We'll see. See how we do kind of approach this. There's that Stargate opener that we spoke about. Stargate into Oracle is going to be on the way. And And likewise, it's going to be on Reynor here to defend. Last game, we had some pretty clean early game defense. Eventually, he lost, what was it, 7 drones? That did occur over the course of the early game, but it was after Adepts had fallen, you know, Oracles were committing quite hard. It was still acceptable losses for Reynor. So we'll see if he can tighten up his defense and minimize his losses even further. For now, we have 1 queen in the main, where we have 2 here at the natural. Additional queens should be on the horizon momentarily. There it is. 4th queen is in production. Adept's going to be threatening a shade. They do get into the main base. We are committing, actually. Oh my god, MaxPax dives into the mineral line. He can one-shot drones. Gets 1. Gets 2. Ooh, and he will shade out. 2 drone kills. He gets away with his life. Remember, because of the 15-15, link speed is late, which means we cannot chase MaxPax down. So good damage dealt so far as he shades in once again. Oh my god. Gets a 3rd drone. Link speed still not quite done, but it looks like we should clean up these adepts eventually as we shade away into the main base. The queens are in position. We can focus the adepts down. We got 4 drone kills in total and 6 links. Not a bad trade for those adepts. That is going to trigger a counterattack, but we only have a handful of lings. Reynor, he's stuck redroning. He's stuck resaturating his bases. This 3rd base should be safe and sound. So really nice start for MaxPax. Once again, Forge and Twilight Council, +1 and Blink should be on the way. We have a bit of a gateway explosion, but again, it shouldn't really be too much here from MaxPax. But we'll see. There is a world where we can go up to 8 gates on 3 bases and just go for an all-in. We could commit. That is not out of the realm of possibility. Now, Oracle is going to be harassing. Dipping in between the bases. Behind this, it is not +1 Blink, it's +1 in charge. Okay, this is the moment we've been waiting for. We do see a big deviation from MaxPax. Going for +1 in charge into Archons, I imagine. So, a pretty hefty army here. This is less mobile, of course, much more committed. At a MaxPax, much more aggressive, I should say. Behind this, Reynor getting into his lair. Lair is in production. No tech structures yet from Reynor. He's just been happily droning. Lings are going to be harassing across the map. There's no shield battery. We can dive in. Do we have enough Lings, though? We don't quite go for it. We think about it. Yeah, Lings sharking around. Lair is halfway done. Roach Warren has begun, so it's going to be Ling Roach Ravager for the time being. Or Ling Main Roach. Is what Reynor's going for. Gases are being taken, +1 melee's on the way. So far, a solid composition here out of Reynor. MaxPax, I believe he still has yet to throw down the Templar Archives. And even a second Robo. Zealots are revealed, Charge is revealed as well. A bit of an early Zealot push right through the center. Reynor, he does spot it ahead of time. There we go, Roaches are amassing. He's trying to slow this down, but the Zealots are coming. Again, there's no War Prison to reinforce, there's no Archons to support, it's just purely Zealots right down the center, right down mid. Oh, we go straight for the Roach Warren. Oh, never mind, we go for the Mineral Line instead. Good SimCity here from Reynor, trying to crisis manage his way out of this. We do pick up 1 queen. Boys are forced to be pulled as well. They're being pulled away. Roaches, they're doing what they can, but they're being focused down. It looks like MaxPax, he may have just barely caught Reynor with his pants down. But the Zealots, they're low. They're so low. And it looks like we will hold. Yeah, the queens, they come in, they transfuse the Roaches. And we will clean this up. Reynor only losing 5 workers. That could have been so much worse. Unfortunately, Evo Chamber did finish. He has to kill it. Was a bit of a misstep there. But Reynor, he's still in 6-6 workers. He throws down the infestation, but he does survive, and now we're ready for a counterattack. What do we have at home? Immortal production, Archon production as well. MaxPax, he's working on the next step. Charge little Archon with Immortals. Blink is on the way, and we're getting into a longer game. As MaxPax is establishing his 4th, and Reynor is droning. Reynor is droning up. So we're going to be calming things down. Reynor almost died, is what I will say. Reynor, he did almost straight up die there, but he survives, and now, again, we're getting into a longer game. We see Reynor taking up into a Hive. Hive has begun in the main. You have the Hydra Den on the way, so it's going to be Hydra, Roach Hydra into, I imagine, Lurker play and Viper play. I imagine. We'll see if that's what we embrace. As you see MaxPax just embracing his army here, moving out with a handful of Archons and Immortals. Not too many Zealots are with his army, so I don't think he's going to be committing. Never mind, scratch that, he's pushing in. Bold move out of MaxPax. It's a very expensive army. He's going to be threatening a dive. Flirting with the idea. Trying to bait the army into him. Trading quite well. At the same time, we do have a Zealot run by here towards the third and towards the main base. Big Zealot drop into the main. Yeah, drones are going down. And the warp in does continue. Hydras are falling as well. MaxPax getting a lot done. Again, interesting choice here. Not reinforcing his main army with Zealots, but instead going for some harassment. Gets 4 workers. Caught a couple of Hydras. And from here he retreats. I like this. From here he does retreat, knowing that in a frontal assault he won't be able to break this and he will most likely lose his army. He needs Zealots. We do have Storm. Ooh, Storm is done. That's going to be a big moment here as well. Stasis Trap's going to be going up. Additional Stasis Traps being set up as well. Files, they graze an Archon. Roaches, they're going for the High Templar. They don't quite get it. Whew. That was close. At the same time, Zealot Rabbi runs into Queens. Did you defend? Likewise, there we go. Prism drop into the main. Zealots in the third base. Stasis. Oh, Stasis. Site defense has finished. We have Spine Crawlers. Not in the main, though, as we do get the Queen. We at least get the Queen in the main. And army trying to find a way in. Storm is revealed. Ooh, big storms. Lurkers are caught out. They're caught exposed. They're going to be going down. Oh, we get 2 of them. Where's the detection? No detection available. Only Revelations. There we go. Revelation thrown down. It catches a couple of the Lurkers. Not all of them. There we go. All the Lurkers are caught up. We barely don't have enough. We're not breaking through. Reynor, he's holding. He's barely holding on. At the same time, Zealot warp in into the main. Gets another Queen. The Immortals are all saved. Roaches, they're going down to the main base. We're getting quite a bit done here. Zealots, they break through the Spine Crawlers. They force a rotation of the Lurkers. Do force the rotation. 8 drones go down. Over here, MaxPax is going to be pulling back. And again, he retained every Immortal. Looking at the units lost type, you can see not a single Immortal has died. No High Templar either, as they were morphed into Archons. And MaxPax, he's in the driver's seat. He's up in workers. He's even on bases. Sorry, he's ahead in... Wait, what? He's ahead on bases here. Reynor stuck on 4 because of the aggression, just now starting up his 5th. MaxPax, oh my god, he is pretty well in control here. Better economy. Retains his army. And MaxPax, he's maxed out. And Reynor, he's struggling. He's struggling to keep up. He needs time right now to build up his Lurkers, to get into upgrades. Does have his Hive Tech Lurker upgrades at least. Does have +2, but I don't see a +3. It's not on the way. So here we go. We are pushing forward. Storm's going to be blanketing down here on top of those Lurkers. The Immortals, they're breaking through. Again, Immortals, they can do quite well here against Lurkers, and we have some Sky Toss. Carriers, they have arrived. +1 air attack is on the way. Mothership just popped out. We're getting into Sky Toss. Again, with the economic lead, MaxPax used that to get it to tech up, to refine his army, to to get further ahead. Storms once again, though. Oh my god. They shoot through that army. Do we have another storm? We do not. But again, the lurkers, they're just rallying into their deaths. They're going down one after the other, and this death ball of an army cannot be stopped. We do yoink one of those carriers. We're running into spores. The best case scenario here for Reynor. But there are just so many immortals. They chew through those lurkers like it's nothing. Boys are being pulled. Oracle's going ham. The bile does connect. But there's just no Zerg left. Yeah, MaxPax snowballing out of control. And we're forced in the ace match. GG gets called. We're going all the way to game number 3. Let's go. GG. Again, a really interesting playstyle out of MaxPax. He almost never reinforced his main army with Zealots. It was purely Immortal Archon, and he was so careful with it. Always threatening a dive, but never quite committing, just poking and prodding. And he was just going for these just non-stop Zealot counterattacks towards the south, towards the north. Now, what's important is that it wasn't like he was dealing a devastating amount of damage. He was killing a couple of drones here and there. He was camping the production, yes. But more importantly, he was containing. He was containing Reynor to 4 bases, while MaxPax was happily taking a 5th and getting further and further ahead in the economy. Like, MaxPax was just in control of that entire game, almost the entire game. And Reynor was on the back foot, was 1 step behind. With that, we're getting into game number 3. With that, we're getting into the ace match. But yeah, I think what I appreciate here, because it was very unique what MaxPax was doing, is that he had just very careful control with his main army. As we mentioned, he never really committed. He never committed with the Immortal Archon until he already gained momentum, until he already, was ahead in the economy. Then he started pushing in. But until that moment, again, he was just being very careful, very tentative with it, just focusing a lot more on his harassment instead. And then once he got his lead, then he started diving on top of these lurkers and committing here with his Storm and High Templar. And able to make sure that the lurker count was kept in check. And with that, we're getting into game 3. We're getting into the ace match, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our Red Protoss player. We have our Danish Protoss representing Storm Gaming. Tying up the series 1-1, forcing the ace match, it is MaxPax. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Italian Zerg player representing... Oh, hold on. Representing Team Basilisk. Oh, being forced into the ace match. Can he bounce back? It is Reynor. We go. I was just quickly checking the bracket to see if the upper semis has started, and we have Clem. Clem he did take down Wayne 2-0, and Clem he's waiting in the upper semifinals for his TVT matchup for either Spirit or Hero Marine to advance on. I mentioned it before, but Spirit has been looking dominant over Big Gabe as of recent times. We'll see if that dominance continues or if Big Gabe gets his revenge, and who gets the luxury of facing Clem in those semis. Regardless, there is going to be a Terran confirmed for the Grand Finals. Which Terran? Yet to be determined. For now, though, we're here trying to figure out who is our first finalist, a Zerg or a Protoss. MaxPax and Reynor, they're pretty evenly matched. They do go back and forth quite often, and this could go either way. This could go either way. Really, my eyes are on MaxPax. I mean, they're on both players right now, because we've seen what both players are made of. Reynor has been trying to be more reactive in general here, and it's been MaxPax really mixing things up. Has it been mixing it up here? Once again, it was... Oh, never mind. It was a Hashgas pool. For the first time, it was not a 15-15 out of Reynor, and he's punished for it. He's forced to expand at the third base location. It's going to make the early game a little bit more uncomfortable here for Reynor, but the upside is that this time, for the first time this series, Link speed is not delayed, and Link speed is going to be much faster, which means Reynor can be more assertive and more aggressive, and try and punish or apply pressure to the third. and to the Adepts. So we're going to be seeing a much more active Reynor this time, I imagine. Meanwhile, it's going to be a Stargate opener out of MaxPax into Oracles once again. And we'll see if MaxPax can get into this, can get some damage done, and can hold on to his third. Meanwhile, we're loading into Oceanborn. It's a map that's known for all-ins. We've seen a lot of Roche-based all-ins, or even Queen-based all-ins on Oceanborn. I'm sure it's on Reynor's mind. Will he go for it? Will he embrace it? We're here to find out. Adept is forced back. Link speed well underway. Well underway here, as we're going to be threading a shade into the main. We just threaten it, we don't commit, keeping Reynor on his toes. As we're getting into our Oracle reaction. First Adepts have arrived. We do try to go for the Tumor. We do not get it. Tumor does survive. First Oracle's moving out. Second Oracle's on the way. Third base should soon be taken here by MaxPax. And Link speed is now done. Link speed is going to be kicking in. Yeah, with that you can see that Reynor, he can be more assertive, getting across the map, threatening that third base. Adepts are in position. We're going to be zoning that back. Are going to be zoning it away. Slings, they do threaten in between these bases here. Reynor just making a handful more lings, just saturating his third. Oracle does finally arrive, but nothing to really go for here at the natural. Yeah, the Queens are keeping up. And so far, MaxPax unable to really get too much done. He does dive on top of the Queen, though. And he will get it. Not a bad pickup. Gets a Queen. Pulls back. Reynor just focusing on just re-establishing himself. Just re-droning. Not really touching the third base of MaxPax. And we have our follow-up. We do have a Forge and a Twilight Council. Before game 2, I would confidently say it's going to be +1 in Blink. But it could be +1 in Charge. After what we saw in game 2. Really, we could embrace either one. So we'll see what MaxPax does go for. As Lings, they're just applying some pressure here. Not doing much else. Baneling Nest going to be on the way. Interesting choice here by Reynor, opting not to go for the Roach Warren. It looks like Lingbane potentially into Hydras. As the Oracles, they deny the fourth. They threaten the third. Good damage dealt by MaxPax once again. We have our answer. It is going to be +1 on Blink. Oh. As MaxPax does accidentally rally into the Queens, almost being punished for it, almost losing that Oracle. But again, it is going to be +1 on Blink on the horizon here for MaxPax. Something much more standard, something much more normal. Again, only 4 gateways, so we're just saturating our third, and we should be working towards a fourth and taking up even further. We have our take of choice. It's going to be the Robo. This looks like Colossus production. Robo into a Bay, but we'll keep an eye on MaxPax. As I have to eat my words, that is not Colossus, that is the Temple Archives for Archons, for would-be Storm. Meanwhile, MaxPax pushing out towards the left-hand side, going to be threatening that fourth once again. Did cancel it once already. Shouldn't get it for a second time. Hey, this time Reynor is ready for it. He has Queens, he has Lings. Adepts, ooh, they rally into their deaths here. As Blink isn't done, by the way. Yeah, we get both Stalkers. Big pickups there by Reynor. And MaxPax, he has to back off. We spoke about Storm, and there it is on the way. As we mentioned, it was Storm, not Colossi, for the splash damage of choice. Blings, they dive on the base itself, a little bit greedy, they do force a cancel. Very nice pickup here from Reynor. Meanwhile, once again, because we saw the Baneling Nest, Lingbane Hydra, we have confirmation. Hydra then is done, and Hydras are on the way. Now, the problem here, Lingbane Hydra is all well and good, has a lot of DPS, but it's a very fragile army. And specifically against either Colossi or Storm, it can struggle. And we have Storm on the horizon, it's halfway done. Meanwhile, Reynor trying to set up us around. MaxPax does spot it, we'll back off. Does end up retreating here, getting in towards Charge, so it's going to be Charge, so Archon, Storm, Blink Stalkers. You know, very gateway heavy composition out of MaxPax. And Reynor has yet to tech into Lurkers. That's where he should be going soon. Once the Storm is revealed, Reynor should be embracing Lurker tech instead and working towards a high. There's no infestation pits, so we're still waiting for that moment. We are still waiting for it. As Reynor going to be collapsing on this army. He's actually trying to commit. Yeah, Reynor, he's not droning. He's rallying everything across the map. All of his Lings and his Hydras. He gets another High Templar. He gets one. One High Templar goes down. Second High Templar as well. Very big pickoffs. There's going to be that many less Storms. Overcharge is popped. We get 7 probe kills at the third, or at the fourth. Once again, he gets another High Templar. And another. Every High Templar goes down. There were 4. Now there are 0. Storm is done, but it doesn't even matter. And Reynor, he can keep pushing. Again, with 0 Storms. And that's what we needed. That's all we needed. And alas, we do not have it. We're pushing on forward. There's 1 High Templar left. It was just warped in. And it goes down. 0 High Templar, 0 Storms. There's no defense here for the Ling Hydra. And we have gotten a kill at the 4th base. And we're not done. GG gets called. Reynor, he snowballs out of control, breaks MaxPax just before Storm finishes. And Reynor, he takes the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. A very, very close game there for Reynor. If you remember, he moved out and he hit his timing seconds before Storm finished. And before it finished, he was able to kill, I want to say 3, 4 High Templar. He was barely able to shut down all the High Templar, all of them. As we saw, not a single Storm was thrown down, despite having 4 High Templar, 0 Storms. And we needed it. We desperately did need it to survive, to hold. And with that, GG, congratulations. Reynor, he barely breaks through, and he will take the series 2-1. GG, well played. Congratulations with that. We have our first finalist. We have our first finalist of the night, of the week. And the question becomes, who's next? Who is next here? Who is going to be rising to this challenge and facing off against Reynor in those finals? It's going to be a Terran, but which one?